The Radio Wammo Breakfast, 13 minutes past 8 now, here on Kiwi.
It was in the morning, after a night raid. I just found it. In a war, finding something like that, it's like finding an angel in hell.
And then he dies. No, I don't know, actually, but we're going to find out because this is the film review with Lena Lamont. The Lucky One is the first film we're looking at. Good morning, Lena.
Good morning, Wammo. Good morning. And I'm the lucky one who got to see this film.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for this, and I thought, oh, this looks terrible.
Does
the
look
trailer
terrible.
gives it all away.
Totally looks really bad.
Zac Efron, who I have all the time in the world for, even Zac, I thought, he can't redeem this likely to be dreadful film, He plays this American Marine. It's so saccharine, like, as a concept, He's an American Marine in Iraq. Or is he in Afghanistan?
Doesn't matter.
One of the two. He's on his third tour, He's like 25, but he's on his third tour. And horrible situation goes down, Marines are killed, and then in the aftermath of it, he finds a photograph on the ground in all this kind of war-strewn area, and there's a photograph of a beautiful young woman, and on the back it says, "Take care." And he's like, well, I wonder who this is. And as he goes to pick up the picture, an explosion happens where he was, and it's all the kind of this feeling of finding this photograph has saved me. So when he comes back to America, he goes on he walks across several states in an effort to find this woman. And then inevitably he finds her and he meets her, but before he gets a chance to say, hey, I found your photo, like, on the ground in the Middle East, in the middle of a war zone, he finds himself, like, working for her. She runs a kennel with lots of lovely dogs and lives out in this beautiful part of North Carolina. And obviously sort of things ensue, relationshipy things ensue, and he hasn't really got round to sort of admitting why he's there. So I thought this is going to be terrible. This is based on a novel by Nicholas Sparks. Now, Nicholas Sparks wrote The Notebook, and I'm one of the few young women who hated The Notebook. And he also wrote The Last Song, which was the Miley Cyrus movie, which wasn't that great either. So here I am thinking, this is going to be rubbish. And do you know what? The Lucky One ain't half bad.
Really?
Unbelievable. It's probably not your
I'm
type of film,
shocked.
Wammo, and be shocked. It's not your sort of movie, I wager, but
See, I care so little about this movie. I just want you to tell me just what happens. Just tell me. How did the photo end up in the?
Oh, well, I'm not going to give that away. I nearly told you. No, I'm not going to give that away because, okay, anybody who goes may actually want that sort of thing to unfold.
Okay.
All I can say is that the performances are surprisingly very moving. So Zac Efron, who I like very much, I do think he's a talented actor as well as being quite handsome, somehow he just has a natural charisma. And the young woman that he plays against, Taylor Schilling, I'd seen her in the trailer and gone, oh, another blonde girl who we've never seen before, who's not really going to be able to add much to this. And actually, she's really good. I think it's because she comes across as really authentic, and her problems, which are so stock issue kind of, raising a child by herself, horrible ex-partner, blah, blah. You just think, oh, my God, Actually, she handles it really well. And so her chemistry with Zac Efron is rather lovely. And I put it all down to, and possibly I'm being overgenerous, but the director of this film is an Australian guy called Scott Hicks, who years ago made a film called Shine. And Geoffrey Rush, who's Oscar nominated and won, and just one of Australia's finest actors, played the lead in Shine, and Shine was a superb film. And I remembered that when the name came up, and I thought, oh, maybe this isn't going to be so bad. And I think it's his restraint and his sort of eye for crafting a good piece of work out of a terribly banal script that makes this film watchable.
Okay.
I can see you're not convinced.
Nope.
But you don't have to be.
No, I don't.
The
Not
words
my
Nicholas Sparks, Zac Efron, those are the sorts of things that will get the viewership going. And I'm simply saying this is not anywhere near as bad as others in its genre.
Okay, we're talking about The Lucky One now, A Separation.
نه خیلی ایشون نه معتاده نه مشکلی داره خیلی هم آدم خوب و سالمی
پس برای چی میخواد طلاق بگیره
برای اینکه ایشون نمیخواد با من بیاد
من پدرمو نمیتونم ول کنم
پدر ایشون آلزایمر اون میفهمه که تو پسرشی
من که میفهمم اون پدرمه
من الان تکلیفم چی میشه حاج آقا
هیچی بفرمایید سر زندگیتون
خداحافظ
This was a Oscar-nominated film.
It actually won. It won this year's Best Foreign Film Oscar. It's an Iranian film called A Separation, as you rightly say. And this is in a whole other realm from what we were talking about before. In fact, this is probably one of the best films that we've reviewed this year so far. Absolutely,
Crikey.
hands down.
Okay.
So,
Better than The Avengers?
do you know, I haven't seen The Avengers, and so I couldn't honestly tell you.
Good,
But
okay.
I suspect it probably is better
Yes,
than The Avengers.
probably is,
only
yeah.
because this film is literally flawless. There
Yeah.
isn't a single thing I could have wished for to be different or better in this film. So, I mean, you know, so that's about as high as you can go, right? A Separation, completely different ballgame, and different ballgame from The Avengers. So A Separation has a very, very simple setup. It's based in Iran, as I say. The separation is the separation of a married couple. And she wants to leave Iran and move to another country with their teenage daughter so the daughter has better prospects in study and whatnot. He wants to stay in Iran because his elderly father, who is ailing from I think mental and physical degeneration, is very unwell and can't possibly go. And so he's saying, we're not leaving because my father's here and he needs to be looked after in this country. And she's saying we need to look at the new generation's future and take our daughter somewhere else. So very early on in the film, the couple separate, but they don't literally change countries. So this is a very simple setup, right? And what's so brilliant about this film, and particularly also as the vast majority of people in New Zealand watching this film will be watching and reading the subtitles and don't speak Farsi or Arabic or any of the languages being spoken in this film.
Yeah.
It completely transcends all sort of cultural barriers, if you will, and is an absolutely universal family predicament. And so they separate pretty early on, so you've got that as your initial predicament. And so the father has to hire a woman from outside the family, from another community, to come along and look after his father during the day while he goes to work. And thereafter, things start to go wrong. And I'm not going to be saying even one, I'm not even going to take us on the journey of all the things that go wrong. But it isn't. See, it's so subtly done. It's not like a comedy of errors kind of, you know, like things spiral out of control. But things do get sort of worse and worse as things goes on, and it's just all of the acting is honestly like you're watching a documentary or something. It's so realistic, and you just completely get enthralled by it and drawn into the family's predicament right until the very end. You know,
Wow.
It is the sort of thing where you would think, oh, I don't know what I would do in this situation. Would I have told that fib? Would I have admitted that? Would I have, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Just conundrum after conundrum.
It kind of is, but in a really subtle, kind of like realistic way. Like it could happen to any of us. Obviously with slightly tweaked circumstances
Sure.
for cultural reference and whatnot.
A Separation.
Really good.
Sounds like it's worth seeing. Whereabouts would you see this
Definitely the Rialto and all the art house cinemas. A Separation was in our film festival last year, and those who got to see it then started raving about it then.
Yeah.
So we were very ahead of the game to see it then, considering that it was then nominated for an Oscar this year.
This year, yeah.
February this
and
year.
then won. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. So highly, highly recommended.
Good stuff. So we looked at A Separation and The Lucky One. You can find more film reviews in the Sunday Star Times and also lenlamont.wordpress.com.
Thank you.
22